When you hit a tennis ball anywhere on the racket besides the center, it's going to feel very uncomfortable, and here's why. If you ever notice, not all the strings on the racket are the same length. The string near the frame are much shorter than the string in the middle. And if they are pulled at the same tension, the shorter one is going to feel stiffer than the one that's longer. Just think of a lever or a stick. When it's long, it's easier to bend. When it's short, it's stiff, so it's much harder to bend. That might have oversimplified everything, but you get the point. Anyway, when you are hitting the ball near the frame where the strings are the stiffest, it's going to send more shock through the racket into your arm, resulting in less power in your shots and discomfort to your arm. So a logical way to mediate this issue is to string each string on the racket at a different tension, where the middle section would have higher tension than the one that's near the frame. So strike of the ball should feel the same regardless of hitting the center or off center on the racket, which should ideally result in larger sweet spot, fill up the entire string bed. And this is when I found Sajetti Stringing analysis service. On their website, you can choose the racket and string and tension that you're currently playing with. And then after a $20 USD payment, you will receive an instruction blueprint of the tension profile for your setup. When I first received the profile, I did notice a large variation of nearly 30 pounds between the middle of the string and the string near the frame. But in general, the idea is there, where the center of the racket gets the highest tension and then decreases as you go towards the frame. I was a bit skeptical when seeing 66 pounds, which is above my racket's recommendation. So I emailed Sajetti's customer service to voice my concern of potentially breaking my racket. And they assured me that it's okay as long as I follow the tension profile instructions. I said okay, took care of my business, and went to work. As a side note, the tension profile that was generated is based on the 55 pounds tension that I normally use. Just when I was stringing, I realized that I selected the wrong string model from the Sajetti website. Instead of the diadem Solstice Power 16 gauge that I normally use, I accidentally selected the Solstice Black 16 gauge. But I communicated with Sajetti's help desk again, and they said that they divided a wide variety of strings into 5 different categories, labeled from 1 to 5. If the strings are within the same category, they can be strung with the same tension profile without a need of purchasing a new profile. Since Solstice Power and Black are within the same category, so the same tension profile can be used for both strings. And that was music to my ears. Saved myself $20 from buying another profile. So I just finished stringing with the Sajetti's tension profile, and I figured it would be a great opportunity for me to have a side-by-side comparison with a racket that is strung with the conventional method, with the same string, same racket, same equivalent tension, and the same grip. What a perfect way to do an apple-to-apple comparison. I give myself a pat on the back for that one. I figure it will be even more interesting to get some of my tennis buddies to have a blind playtest without my biased opinion. And here's the premise of the blind playtest. I color-coded Sergetti Method with the red paint and a conventional with blue, just so that I don't forget which is which. And then I'll have them hit with one racket for about 5 to 10 minutes and then switch over to another one for another 5 to 10 minutes of hitting session. But without telling them which one is strung with which method. And here's their honest, unfiltered, unbiased feedback. Hi. So after about 20 minutes of hitting, about 10-15 minutes each, so what did you feel about the red one that you play with?
Definitely the red one felt like it had a looser string bed. On my mishits, I felt very in control of my shots. No shock to the arm.
So in terms of stiffness versus soft, how would you consider the red one is?
The red one, I would say it's a lot softer string bed.
Okay.
Red's a little bit more forgiving. I feel like I got more sweet spot with the red one.
Okay.
I might be just hitting all the sweet spot the whole time, but
but you did intentionally try to hit, like, try to frame it, right?
Yeah, I tried a few times. Yeah, but red was more lenient on those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, how did you feel with the red one? Like in terms of softness, comfortness, or
the strings felt a little bit looser. I would say these strings felt a little bit tighter.
So the blue is tighter, red is looser. Okay.
Correct.
Which one do you feel has a larger sweet spot?
It's definitely the red one.
The red one? And then the red one feels softer, is that?
The red was definitely more lighter to me and a bit looser, not as stiff, most definitely, compared to this blue one.
Red, red felt looser, like had a bigger sweet spot.
I feel like this this one on my right hand side is more forgiving.
Red,
just
red
yeah,
is
the
more
red
forgiving.
one. I was able to hit more, perform a little bit better with this one.
So did you actually feel a larger sweet spot with the red?
I
versus the blue?
do. I do. Well, just based on the result, I was able to, you know, return with more consistency with the one on my right hand.
What about the blue one?
The blue one felt great on center hits, but if you mistime it a little bit, it'll definitely give your arm a shock.
Blue is a little stiffer. The blue one was really stiff. That one actually kind of hurt my wrist and my elbow.
The blue one?
Yeah, the blue one. The blue one. Yeah.
Okay.
Blue felt tighter, like less forgiving.
Okay, just to re-emphasize, none of them knows which color was strung by which method prior to the playtest. And I think the general consensus seems to be that on the equivalent tension basis, Sajetti profile gives a softer feel across the entire string bed compared to the conventional way of stringing. And one thing that's really mind-boggling is that normally a string bed with higher pitch sound would means higher tension, which indicates higher stiffness if they're the same exact string. However, at the time of all the blind testing, the Sergetti racket actually had a higher pitch than the conventional one, and somehow everyone felt softer with Sajetti, and it was even more mind-blowing that everyone felt the same way. Another thing I do want to mention, and maybe a few of my buddies also pointed out, is that although Sergetti method does feel like a string bed has a larger sweet spot, but when comparing on center hit, conventional method still comes out on top, which feels much crisper and more control with the shot. Later on, I asked for their preference, and I got a mixed bag of feedbacks. Which one will be the weapon of your choice?
I would probably go with the blue strings. I felt probably a little bit more shock with the red.
With the red, okay.
With the red.
Okay. And the blue is less.
I felt a little bit less with the blue. I felt a little bit more control.
Okay.
It felt like the strings were a little stiffer, and I like stiffer strings.
Okay.
Me personally, I like the stiffer stringing job, I guess is what you would say. So I like the blue one better.
Okay.
Maybe when I'm not tired, I would like blue because I'm more focused and I can hit cleaner. But as the match goes on, I would prefer red because it's more forgiving.
Preferred the red one because the blue one was really stiff. I had more touch and feel with this one compared to that one. And that one is kind of, I don't know, it just, the balls were going all over the place.
Okay.
It wasn't very consistent to me.
The blue is definitely my favorite between these two rackets. My style is actually a lot of topspin, and I felt like this was a lot more effortless to get that spin, and I got more feel out of this too. So I knew exactly, I felt better connected to the ball with this one than this one. Oh, sure.
So last but not the least, Sajetti also claimed that their method would increase string durability and maintain tension longer. I did a test to see how each racket would sound from the pitch of the string after a month worth of playing, and here's how they sound fresh off the stringer. They do sound pretty similar if you were to ask me. According to their claim for longer tension maintenance, I would expect the Sajetti's method should maintain a higher pitch than a conventional one after a series of playtests. I did try to play them as equally as possible to put an equal strain on both rackets, and here's how they sound after a month worth of playtests. And you can also tell how much my hair grew over a course of 1 month. Given that Sajetti version maintained relatively higher pitch after a month worth of playtest, I would say Sajetti is holding their end of bargain in terms of tension maintenance. As for durability, the conventional one broke after 15 playtest sessions, and each session lasted about 1.5 hours, so a total of 23 hours of playtime. And Sajetti broke at 17th session with a total of 27 play hours. It is not perfect science, and Sajetti lasted 4 more hours of playtime according to my playtest. But it is far below the 2.5 times longer durability that the Sajetti claimed, so this is a fail in my opinion. Lastly, I would like to thank everyone in the video for participating in this blind test, and I hope you had as much fun as I did from the experience. This video wouldn't happen without you. And here are some of their reaction after I reveal the answer.
Oh man.
So we have the wrong answer. We're not doing
red and blue. Red was strung by the Sergetti method.
Wow.
Good job.
We never failed yet.
So you're guessing the blue one is Sajetti.
Yeah, I'm saying
you're
the red
guessing the red
one.
one.
Yeah.
Alright. Kenny, you are incorrect.
Okay.
Drum roll. The red was strung by the Sajetti method.
Ah. Whew. I figured that was gonna happen.
I want to say the blue is the
The blue one?
method.
Alright, so the answer is red. The red is actually strung with Sajetti method.
Okay.
Yeah. So the answer is red. Is strung by Sajetti.
Okay. But that's what his thing is, right?
Sure, is that your final answer?
I am.
You are correct.
So I get to win the racket, right?
Nope. Final thoughts on the Sergetti stringing method is that it is an interesting way to string a racket, even though it took me an extra 20 minutes to string it. But I think the time will reduce as I become more competent with the Sergetti method. And it does have a unique soft feeling when striking the ball. And it feels like the sweet spot. Does feels like it's larger, but it's worth to emphasize again that the conventional method still feels a lot better when hitting the ball dead center on the racket. To me, I think it's important to be able to feel the shock when you mishit the ball. That way you can quickly readjust for the next shot. What Sajetti is offering is like a cheat code that may help your game on the short term, but when you start relying on it, you may be developing a bad habit without knowing due to the help of Sajetti. And ultimately, if you want to improve your tennis, striking the ball at the center of the racket as often as possible is probably one of the most important skills to learn in order to develop power and control in your shots.